This is into the fire.
It is my absolute pleasure to welcome into the fire talented steeplechaser. More importantly, he's an Olympian heading to the Olympics. Nice guy and Tokyo-bound Matthew Clarke. Nice to meet Matthew.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure, mate. How does a guy get into steeplechasing, and what age did you get into it?
So I got into it a bit later. So originally I was a 1500-meter runner, and I used to live and train back in Melbourne. And in 2018, I made the national final for the 1500 and came ninth. And then after that, I was chatting to my coach at the time, Justin Rinaldi, and he kind of mentioned he didn't really reckon that I could really make it in the 1500. And he said there's a bit of a gap in the team at the moment in the steeple and the 10K. And I didn't think I'd be fit enough for the 10K, so I started practicing steeple that winter, and then got into it from there. So that was 2018. I started winter training for it, and then I think I did my first run in 2019, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, pretty interesting story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk me through what a steeplechase race entails. How many laps? What obstacles are there? Just for those who are unsure.
Yeah. So it's funny. It depends exactly how many laps, whether it's an inside or outside water jump. So a normal 3K is 7.5 laps. But if it's an outside water jump, we do closer to 7. It's just a little bit over 7 laps. And if it's an inside jump, we do obviously a bit more than 7.5. So a normal track's 400 meters. An inside water jump steeple's 396. And an outside one can vary. Usually it's about 424 to 430 meters. We get 5 jumps a lap, so 5 barriers a lap, and the second last one, so the one on the final bend, has a water pit in it, which we have to navigate as well.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fun. Also pretty tiring.
Yeah, I guess it's fun and tiring. It's definitely different to normal flat racing.
Yeah, it is. Now, jumping in the water looks tough. Is it the hardest part?
I think, yeah, for most people, it's certainly a bit challenging. I think I found it actually probably one of my strengths, though. So it is a bit more of a longer kind of jump. So you kind of got to step off it, push off, navigate people. But I kind of found, because it's a bit of a slower movement, so you kind of like firstly jump up, put your foot on, and then push off. It kind of feels more like a step and run movement. Whereas sometimes jumping the normal barriers, that was something I had to like really practice a bit more, just because it's more of a hurdling technique. You had to kind of jump, practice trail leg coming around, not over rotate too much, which I still do a little bit. And that I found that just a bit more technical. So interestingly, I find the water jump probably better, and it's probably one of my strengths, but I know a lot of people run into a lot of headaches onto it.
Yeah. Does it get any better than pulling on the green and gold and competing in the Olympics?
Nah, and I think it's still settling in a little bit. So I've made a few smaller Australian teams. I've made but my first one was the Oceania Champs in 2019, and that was in Townsville. And my next one was the World Uni Games in Naples, also 2019. And like that felt pretty special, but it obviously they weren't major champs. They were more like development teams. So to actually be wearing something that's actually got some Olympic rings on it. Yeah, it's a massive dream come true, and as I said, I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I'm not quite comprehending the reality that my dreams come true.
Yeah, and I've interviewed quite a bit of athletes. They all say nothing better putting on green and gold.
Yeah, it feels pretty special.
Yeah, sounds like it. Now, you decided to forego Europe and stay in Australia. Prove to be a good move. What made you choose this?
So I kind of thought initially, if we stayed in Australia, initially I kind of thought we had 2 D level points on offer in Australia, and I kind of thought that would probably be enough if I ran quick enough at them. I kind of underestimated how many points were on offer in Europe though, and that quickly turned out to be a bit of an issue, and we actually decided then, okay, we've actually got to go for the time here. The points are pretty far gone. But going off that anyway, like I still kind of thought that with the setup I had, with my training partner being probably the best pacemaker I could ever find, to back that decision still, and just kind of hopefully could get me to, a couple laps to go, and then I could just take it on from there, and there'd be a bit less traffic, and I could just attack the race a bit more systematically. And luckily that all paid off. So I only just missed the qualifier, but I did enough to get me on the team, like by the skin of my teeth, but I still got there. But interestingly, like when I was talking to my coach after I'd qualified, he goes to me, yeah, we really did underestimate the points on offer in Europe, and probably if we had the time again, I probably would have sent you over there.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. Great
one. Thank you.
That's okay. You moved from Melbourne to Adelaide to be with Coach Adam Didick. Great move to this great city. Adam must be amazing. You do realise we claim you now as an Adelaide boy.
Yeah, and I'm a proud South Australian, so I live, work, and I've even got a girlfriend from SA now. So I feel very very welcomed by everyone there, and I'm excited to be part of that like SA community as well. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit gutted this year. So with quarantine, I'm actually gonna be out just a couple of days before National Cross, which was originally penciled in for my first race that I'd actually put on an SA singlet. So I'm going to have to unfortunately miss that one and delay that until now. But yeah, I feel very SA, and everyone's been very welcoming. It's very nice.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you here down in Adelaide. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be there.
Yeah. In June, you ran a PB by 10 seconds. That's huge. Second fastest Aussie in Australia. Fourth fastest Aussie of all time. You must have been stoked, although disappointed that it was so close to the Olympic qualifying time.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was funny. So I ran that 8:22.63 and crossed the line, saw it, and just initially crushed, which is probably the opposite of what most people do after running a 10-second PB. And even going out to dinner, I on the way to dinner, I got a call with my good friend Jared Clifford, and he goes to me, "Do you reckon you might have been happier running 8:25?" And it was funny because I said, "Yeah, I reckon I probably would have been happier running 8:25 rather than be told you've missed it by like that much." But obviously now in hindsight, if I'd run 8:25 at that race, I actually wouldn't be on the team. So I'm in retrospect, I go over the moon with how I went.
Yeah, that's good. Then fate stepped in. A withdrawal from a competitor in the Olympics put you in as the 45th qualifier. What was it like being told that? You must have gone crazy.
Yeah, so it was an interesting week. So I did another race a week later after that 0.63 and missed it by 0.62 and missed it by 0.13. And yeah, that was just that was crushing kind of thing. And then I just thought that was it. And then the points happened. I actually got into the quota. I got into 43rd. And then on the last day of qualification, a couple of guys ran the time and pushed me back down to 46th. And then they did the team selection, the initial team selection, and I wasn't eligible for selection, so they didn't pick me. So I was pretty gutted. I just had no motivation at that point. And then there was some talk saying that I could still be nominated if a position freed up before the 5th of July. 5th of July. So this was on about the 2nd or 1st of July. I got told this, so I was waiting a few days. 5th of July rolled about, no call, no nothing. Got to about 7 p.m. at night, went out to dinner with my girlfriend, just thinking like, I've heard nothing. This is the end of the deadline. It's just going to be bad news. The Athletics Australia's number popped up on my phone. I was like, here it comes. Here comes the bad news. It was the head of high performance, Andrew Fakeney. He goes to me, "Matt, how you going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm all right. It's been a pretty long week." He goes, "Well, mate, you better perk yourself up. I've got some good news for you." And yeah, I couldn't believe it because I was expecting bad news all week. I just broke down. I was so emotional. Instantly just had to call everyone, all my family, all my close friends. They were about as emotional as I was. So many people I called were actually crying more than I was. My girlfriend's mum probably cried the most of all people, which is quite funny. But yeah, what a whirlwind week, and then to have it capped off like that, I think you really appreciate how much it means to you when you think you've lost it. So it was really special.
Yeah, it sounds like you rode some ups and downs that week.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. Yeah.
Yeah, but lucky you got there in the end.
Yeah.
What would you need to achieve to win a medal at the Olympics? I know there are some fast guys there, but nothing is impossible. I mean, Bradbury did it. Seriously, is it about reaching your PB, or can you push the very best?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, we had to fill out a bit of a media questionnaire, and one of the things I put down, like, what was your favorite Olympic moment? I was definitely Stephen Bradbury winning that gold medal. But yeah, I think I'd probably need a bit more of a Hail Mary than that. There's some pretty good guys in the world in the steeple. You know, you've got El Bakali, who's a sub 8-minute runner, and you've got 3 Kenyans going as well, who are all sub 8:10 guys, as well as a bunch of Europeans who are all sub 8:10, a few Ethiopians as well who are sub 8:10. So look, a medal's going to be pretty tough, but I'd love to run a PB, get dragged along the back end of the race, which I haven't had the opportunity to do so yet, being in Australia. And if I can potentially, run well, run tactically savvy, and sneak into the final, I think that would be pretty special. But like just getting here is pretty special in my books. I want to do my best. I want to do a result I'm proud of, and if that means a PB, great. If that just means running the best race I've got on offer on the day, I'll be just as happy with that.
And I know you're going to go awesome.
Thank you very much.
No worries. So, there are 3 of you going over to compete. Both Ed Trippett, let's hope he doesn't trip us, sorry, bad joke, and Ben Buckingham join you. It must be great to have fellow Aussies being there. Yeah,
it definitely is. And I've definitely been speaking to Ed along the way, because he ran his qualifier after my 2:8:22s, and he was chatting to me about, chasing points and how tough it was, and that, he said he was just going to have to throw the Hail Mary at the end and try to get the time. And I was telling him, man, I reckon you got this. I reckon you can get it. And he ended up getting it. And it was funny because, I thought I'd finished in 46 after he got that time. So I was kind of thinking to myself, geez, maybe I shot myself in the foot here. But, yeah, luckily it all worked out for the best, and we're all going. And it feels pretty special as well. It's the first time since 1956 since we've sent a full team of steeplers. So that's pretty awesome to be a part of, and see the event really rising in Australia at the moment. We've got 3 girls as well, so we've got a full set of steeplers, both men's and women's, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good to go with men's.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah. How's Cairns, buddy? Is it cool hanging with other Aussie athletes?
Yeah, it's really really humbling, actually. Like you see some of these just amazing athletes, past medalists, and some of them are older and playing more of a senior leadership role now, and it's pretty cool to be a part of, being their presence, kind of see their professionalism around the place, and also just see how supportive they all are. I think we're pretty good in Australia. They do a lot to bring the team together. So we're eating a lot of our meals together. We've actually got an induction tonight for all the athletes to kind of bring the team closer together again. And, yeah, it's been pretty cool to be a part of all that. I think Australia does a really good job of that.
Yeah, they do. Now, Mr. Olympian, being around the world will be something special. Who would you be a bit starstruck by seeing?
Oh, here's another tough one. They asked this as well in our media questions. I don't know how many people will actually see, because it's a COVID year. I don't know how much freedom we get to just walk around the village this year. So I might not actually see as many people as previous years. But oh gosh, I can't remember who I put down. Oh, actually, not really too sure who I who I'm two-star. Maybe like I was originally going to say like the American men's basketball team's always pretty special, but I think they're missing a few big players this year, and like Australia's actually been throwing them around a bit. So maybe I should be saying the Australian basketball team, who I'm actually more likely to see. So guys like Patty Mills and stuff.
Yeah, Patty Mills, Joe Ingles, pretty cool. They're doing well this year.
Yeah, they're killing it at the moment. So they're
Yeah.
pretty cool. He's our flag bearer as well. So he's obviously like one of the big leaders of the team too.
Yeah, he is. Well, Matthew, you've already done the country, your family and friends and yourself very proud. You're an Olympian, mate. But hey, when the cameras are on you for the start of the race of your life, give the TV a smile and then something that will inspire you. It's the Into the Fire.
Thanks very much.
You like that, mate?
Yeah, that was great.
Maybe you can do it when you win that race. Well, Matthew, I can't thank you enough. Well, Matthew, I can't thank you enough for giving me some time in your very busy schedule at the moment. You're a legend. Now go on and get that gold, buddy.
Cheers, mate. It was a pleasure being on.
Oh, it was great to have you on the show.